just latch on via our social media platform, Facebook precisely, and you are on to conversation. Once again, wherever you are listening across the world, you are welcome. My name is Tola Tediba.
Yes, on a good day, the program is Conversation on Oluyole FM 98.5 right here in the city of Ibadan. And yes, Conversation is a program. My name is Bimbo Akombi, and Tola said it all. We are there anywhere you want to listen to Conversation on this channel, on other channels that we are networking with. Yes, you hear us there. Yes, we'll go to stories making the rounds, like Tola has rightly mentioned.
But and I'm straight to the meat of the news this morning. On insecurity, we are tired of mourning, Senate declares. Well, unless the needful is done, I guess there's still more mourning ahead. And then we have a rider delegation to accompany Tinubu to Benue as a Senate delegation. And the Benue state government has declared a work-free day to welcome Mr. President, I presume. Now, the 10th Senator said it was tired of observing a minute silence and condolence visits occasioned by incessant loss of innocent lives by murderous terror groups. Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramudu, made the remarks on Tuesday at a session with journalists. He was reacting to recent killings in Benue State by bandits over the weekend in the north central state. Adaramudu, who dropped the hint that the leadership of the Senate would accompany President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Benue on Wednesday, restated the concern of the National Assembly to the scary security situation across states in the country, which informed its intention to convene a security summit. That's their solution to the problem, a security summit.
Security summit and visits to the crime scene. And will that bring back the lives of those who have been killed? Or will that stop more killings?
Well, at least Senator Adaramudu is not blaming the victims like some of his colleagues and some governors have been doing in the past. Some governors from up north who blamed the victims for their own misfortune, for their own fate. They said it was the anti-open grazing law that is in force in Benue State. That is what caused these people to begin to wipe out entire communities and take innocent lives at will. Well, still, Senator Adaramudu said about the tragic incidents in Benue, and quoting him, he says it was very unfortunate. We sympathize with the victims and families affected. Now, the Senate, in collaboration with the executive, will visit Benue tomorrow, that is today, with a delegation of senators to commiserate. And more importantly, we are organizing a national security summit, not just for the military, but for civil society organizations, media, women, youth, and other critical stakeholders. Are you going to be inviting the killers to the summit? Because the killers, they are known, they are not in hiding. And they are majorly of a particular ethnic nationality, and very often they justify
the killings,
at least under the previous administration. They will come out open to say we did this and this is why we did it, and then nothing happened. So maybe they will be inviting them to the summit. But Bimbo, no, I'm wondering, the declaration of a work-free day by the Benue State government, I'm wondering what this is all about. And well, the governor, he previously didn't ask anyone to stay home for the purpose of mourning and burying their dead. Now the president is coming and is declaring work-free day. So I suspect that the governor is not seeing the situation with the level of seriousness it deserves. He's seen Mr. President's visit more as the usual colorful carnival-like official visit.
Yes.
The kind that happens in normal times. And I guess he's declaring work-free day so that everyone, including the rented crowds, can turn out en masse to show political support for Mr. President and the APC government, irrespective of the Goria Prince in Benue State. Well, Bimbo, events later in the day may prove me either right or wrong. But honestly, I'm seeing a governor who doesn't see the situation as a business of very serious emergency that should be treated with every possible ounce of soberness. There should be no fanfare, there should be no colors or fanfare. There should be no mobilization of crowds. That visit must be very sober, like I said. It must be about empathy and about ensuring that these things do not happen again. The only crowds I would expect to welcome the president to Benue State, Abimbo, this morning are crowds of peaceful protesters, possibly placard bearing and calling the attention of the nation's leader to the problem. I do not expect Mr. President to be meeting with the politicians, but with the survivors in the IDP camps who can give me first-hand information on what actually happened and what has been happening. Then possibly the community leaders and the traditional rulers, he can also meet with them. But I do not expect him, like I said, to meet with the politicians, because they are the problem. They are the problem. They are the identified problems that must be tackled, or possibly that must be uprooted from being incapacitated from doing what they have been doing all this while. I also do not expect him to meet with the representatives of the killers. That would be aiding and abetting crime at the very highest level. As far as I'm concerned, my opinion here, I think he should take the war to the killers. If you are talking about meeting with their leaders, then it means you know who the killers are, you know where they are.
Yes.
And then you refuse to move against crime. That is aiding and abetting, like I said.
Yes, you said something about the president not not turning the event, and the governor to earlier, yes, not turning the event to. I won't be surprised, and you won't be surprised, that at the end of the day, the meetings and those events that are going to come up later in the day will be turned to what you said should not be turned to. That is it. Now, some survivors, yes, they have been talking. They have been hit, and they have been negatively affected. Yes, and they are talking about their ordeal, their gory ordeal from the hands of these attackers. Well, as President Bola Tinubu visits Benue, survivors of last Friday's deadly attacks at Yelewata in Guma local government area of the state have recounted the anguish they suffered in the attack perpetrated by armed herdsmen, which resulted in the death of over 200 persons, mainly women and children. Well, those are the people that are always mostly affected. Several houses were also set ablaze by the marauding herdsmen who left blood and sorrow in their trail. Yes, that is one of the songs of late Fela Anikula Pokuti. Yes, leaving sorrows, tears, and blood. And then he was attacking the military.
The military junta.
This came as Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia yesterday rejected calls for self-defense by residents, asking communities to support the establishment of a more robust community policing system. Well, let me just quickly go through some of those who are telling us about what they lost and how the killings have affected them. His ordeal, this one is Michael Aja. He narrated his ordeal. He's a survivor. He said he lost at least 20 members of his family to the attack. Yes. 11 of my family members died in this house. 8 died in the other store, and some died here. My family members, 20 in number, died in the attack. Well, another one, Mr. Joseph Kwag, said he lost 8 members of his immediate family, including his father, stepmother, and 6 siblings. And he revealed that the attackers had sent prior warnings to the community, which residents had dismissed due to similar threats in the past that never materialized. That is what is always happening. They sent notice that they were coming, but they did not take any proactive measure to, at least maybe arm themselves, or prepare for to not to allow these incidents to happen. But at the same time, Benue governor is saying he is not supporting people to arm themselves to take on these people during attacks. Now, Yes, I said it. He rejected call for self-defense, backs community policing, which is still, still under a state policing, community policing. Nobody's really saying anything reasonable about it. And the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Christopher Musa, pushed forward the training of credible youths across Benue State as vigilantes working under the supervision of the military, as was done in Borno State, to defend local communities against terrorist attacks. Well, I think it worked for some time. That one of Borno State.
Civilian GTF.
Yes. Now, this embarrassing situation in Nigeria, yes, it has gone beyond the shores of Nigeria, and as condemnations of the killings continued yesterday, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who also condemned the attacks, said those responsible should be apprehended. Well, we appreciate his concern for the country. And yes, a Benue lawmaker has said that they have failed in their, they have failed their people, and that is according to Kwande. Yes, I don't seem to see his name here, but he's a lawmaker representing Kwande West State Constituency. Yes, Thomas Dugeli. He said they have failed their people. Yes, I am happy that he has realized that they have, failed their people. They're talking about security issues.
One of the very few among Benue leaders who have said anything sensible. The governor and the others have been busy trying to apportion blame, and even blaming those who are the victims, like I always say. They've been blaming the religious leaders and all that. But then I am also wary about people of the affected communities resorting to self-defense. So just like Governor Alia, for no other reason than that unregulated resort to self-defense, to arms, may degenerate into chaos. And I've always been afraid of this kind of
situation.
Counterproductive. But then, if this will not, would only happen, I would only support this as a very, very last resort. But then, if it is not going to happen, all other measures that is being thrown at the problem as a solution must be implemented with every seriousness it deserves. So Governor Alia is talking about community policing that would be effective, community policing that would have the capacity to ward off attacks, possibly in collaboration with non-compromised security agencies. Yes. That is what we are talking about here. And community policing that the people can trust, a system that can, like I said, that can be trusted by the people. And a senator, I think, also talked about the possibility of training, or the Chief of Defense Staff. Spoke about the possibility of training used to be local vigilantes, well, non-political vigilantes, and vigilantes that would not be used for political reasons.
Yes, and vigilantes that will not have any grudge against anybody before they get into the vigilante group.
And the vigilantes, like I said, that would also, just like the community policing, that would also have the capacity to ward off attacks. Yes, I agree that this should be in collaboration with the conventional security agencies, who must also be non-compromised. But when you pay lip service to all these things, it's only a matter of time before that which we fear comes upon us. That is, everybody resorting to defending themselves in whatever way they know how to. And like I said, this would snowball into chaos. What you would have to handle would be much more, those in authority now, what they would have to handle would be much bigger than them trying to please any particular ethnic nationality or people of any particular ethnic group. And I'm talking about the criminals in that ethnic nationality, and not the entire ethnic nationality. Like I said, there are very good people who are Fulanis, and very many of them. It's just the criminals among them.
Yes.
And that is what the government needs to address. Maybe they are not seeing this, and maybe because I'm also not in government, maybe that's why I'm not seeing what they are seeing. And maybe that's why I'm not seeing why they continue to treat these elements with kid gloves. It's not a war against Fulani, it's a war against crime. It's a war against criminals. Fulani, a wonderful race, like I always say.
Yes.
I've had personal interactions with very many of them in the course of this profession, and I know they are good people. But then there are those criminals among them is what the government should be taking the battle to. And any other ethnic nationality where you have criminal elements, like I said, crime does not have an ethnicity. Crime does not have an ethnic identity. Crime is crime.
Now, let's say, crime is crime. It could be, at least at the time there were, so many Yoruba people involved in, armed robbery. Then Yoruba people are wonderful people too, but the criminal elements among them, the other Igbo ethnicity, ethnic nationality, yes, the same thing.
You know when you talk about I think of the time when you talk about body ritual, when you talk about
yes,
internet, when you talk about internet fraud and all that, you would think of Southeast Nigeria. Then there was a time when you talk about maybe armed robbery and also ritual killings too. You might talk about Southwest Nigeria.
Southwest, yes.
And when you talk about religious war,
yes.
The gory religious killings, you talk about Northern Nigeria. But then it doesn't mean that every Igbo man is an internet fraudster or is a ritualist. It doesn't mean every Yoruba one is an armed robber or a ritualist, or it doesn't mean that every Northerner is a religious fanatic. So among all the ethnic nationalities, what needs to be done is to continue to take the war to the criminals, to fish them out. And that is what exactly needs to be done. But like I said, they are the politicians. Maybe they are seeing things we are not seeing. And maybe that is why they are so reluctant to do the needful. Even having seen that all the other measures are not working, the measures of reaching out to them, reconciliation, talking about branching and all that, I don't know. But then, like I said, it is the criminals that keep on rejecting. Even the leaders that keep on telling them to reject these things, they should be counted amongst the criminals. On Mokwa flooding, well, the Niger State government says 700 persons are still missing. That is very worrisome. 700. And if they are missing, and if it's a case of missing, presumed dead, so it means 700 corpses are still probably littering Niger State in different places, and you know what that could mean. Well, maybe they've just been displaced and no one knows where they are present. Maybe some of them have been displaced and no one knows where they are presently. But it says they are missing, and well, it doesn't say they are presumed dead. But if they are presumed dead, that could be a very serious problem.
What I see to this is, if they are still missing since all these days. My own belief is that they might be dead. They might be dead.
So if you have rotten corpses at different locations in the state, you can imagine the danger, the hazards, health hazards, the possibility of an epidemic.
Yes, because I was watching some people, during an interview on these missing people. They were complaining that the federal government should come, the state government should come to ensure that they find all these missing and presumed dead people because of epidemics, and especially so that it will not affect the children, small kids that are still surviving, following the floods. So that is what that person said. And if a government, or if any organization, if an agency says who are responsible, tackle the responsibility of looking into this matter, are saying that 700 persons are still missing, then at the same time the floods might have carried some away to some other locations.
And back to Benue State, this just caught my eye, Bimbo. Now, while Governor Alia is declaring a work-free day to welcome President Tinubu to the State Assembly is asking the governor to declare 3 days of mourning for victims of the Yelwata massacre. And, the Assembly seems to be, not that the 3 days of mourning would actually do anything, but then at least some level of empathy with the victims. And it seems as if the Assembly is much more serious about these issues than Governor
himself. Yes.
I remember yesterday I was reading it on the internet that the Speaker of the Assembly also ordered the release of youths arrested for protesting against the killings. The youths were also tear gassed.
Yes.
Whereas the youths that came to him at government house to drum up support
for him for second term.
He welcomed them wholeheartedly and encouraged them. But then these ones were protesting killings, were incarcerated, they were clamped into detention. Well, I don't know if the Speaker has those powers to order the release of the youth, but that's what I read yesterday, that he ordered their release, and they said that everyone has a right to peaceful protest, so long as the protests are peaceful, that everyone has a right to peaceful protest. And I noticed that the Speaker's colleagues, they hailed him, and it was quite an ovation. They clapped for him severally, meaning that I don't know if they are at cross purposes with the governor, because that clapping, it looks much more beyond the fact that they are happy that the Speaker is ordering for the release of those people. It looked as if the Speaker is saying something that they all wanted him to say, and that it seems to be correcting a wrong move made by someone. And not the mood, when you study that kind of mood, that when somebody, a powerful person, has done something which everyone feels is wrong, and somebody has the temerity to correct that, then the way the applause goes, then you know that they are happy that this person is being tackled. I do not know if that is what happened, Bimbo, but then good one if the Speaker is giving that directive. Like I said, I don't know if he possesses those powers. But then,
even if he possesses, if he gives those directives, I'm not sure whether it will be carried out. Yes, I am not too sure. Then I don't know how these politicians think. Yes, the way they think baffles me. You know that they will see some things on ground. They will know what happened to some people in the course of what those people have done, maybe negatively or positively. At the same time, they will still embark on those same, issues that have tarnished the image of all those politicians that he had seen. I don't understand how they feel, how they think. I don't know. Yes, let's move to this one. Well, it is talking about a popular pastor in Lagos, Adefarasin. Pastor Adefarasin. They said he turned himself in to the Lagos police. I think there was a video that went viral showing him with a supposed gun. He was pointing at somebody along a road, and it went viral, and he turned himself into the police. Let me just go through him. Senior pastor of House on the Rock Church, Paul Adefarasin, has turned himself into the Lagos State Police Command following the circulation of a viral video allegedly showing him holding a firearm during an encounter with a content creator on a Lagos road. This was disclosed to reporters through WhatsApp by the spokesperson of the State Command, Mr. Benjamin Hundeyin, and recalled that a video clip emerged online last week showing Pastor Adefarasin holding a metallic object while speaking to a passerby who was recording him. The clip, which quickly went viral, led to public speculations, with some social media users alleging that the popular cleric was brandishing a gun during the encounter. And however, in a message to his congregation posted on his social media handles on Saturday last week, Adefarasi described the claims as a misunderstanding, and he stated clearly that the object seen in the footage was not a firearm, and emphasized that he did not point it at anyone. And meanwhile, in his WhatsApp message, Hundeyin wrote, "No one is above the law. Pastor Adefarasi has turned himself in at the Lagos State Police Command headquarters in Ikeja and is currently being interrogated by detectives." And they have also commenced an investigation into the case following the emergence of the video showing the pastor holding a gun-like object towards another road user while driving in an unregistered vehicle.
Unregistered vehicle? Well, first of all, Bibo, I want to commend the pastor for turning himself in for questioning by the police. Well, a lot of things could have happened since we don't have any clear details yet of what actually transpired and of whether he was holding a gun or not. Now, but as for owning a firearm, well, if, like every other citizen, he has the right to own a firearm so long as it's properly licensed.
Yes.
And but the question of him, let's assume he was indeed pointing a firearm at someone. Well, the explanation can only come from him. If he was trying to defend himself, which is also a right under the law, or if he was he got so angry that he had to threaten whoever it was he had an altercation with, he had to threaten that person with a firearm. Well, he's human. He could get angry and forget who he is, his identity, and for the moment, although he shouldn't, but that shouldn't happen to him. He should have controlled himself. He should have controlled his anger. He should have reined in his anger. I guess that's what happened. Maybe he got so angry and temporarily he forgot who he was, and maybe much later he would later become sober and know that he shouldn't have done this. But like I said, the picture is not very clear yet.
Yes,
you know that can shed light on it, and I hope for the sake of public perception that the police would let us know what his explanation is regarding that incident.
Yes, because he said he's claiming now, as read in the newspapers, he is claiming that it was not a firearm, that it was a metal object. But even if it was a metal object, why wouldn't it, along the road in public?
And in a threatening-like manner.
Yes.
And, like I said, he should have remembered who he is. He said it was a misunderstanding. He shouldn't have allowed things to degenerate to that level. I'm not judging him because I do not, like I said, we do not have a clear picture of what actually happened. And it's the only one that can shed light on it. But Tinubu's global investment community to bridge $2.3 trillion infrastructure gap. And also President Tinubu lauds Mr. Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, for constructing Abuja's 24-hour bus terminals. The economy here.
Yes. Now talking about this one, talking about Lassa fever health stories. Nigeria records spike in Lassa fever cases as death toll hits 143, and another health worker has been infected. And Nigeria has reported an increase in Lassa fever cases, with 11 new confirmed infections, bringing the death toll to 143 this year. And meanwhile, one health worker was newly infected during the latest reporting week, and the 11 new cases recorded in week 23 of 2025 were reported in Ondo, Edo, Bauchi, and Taraba states. Lassa fever.
It just refuses to go away.
Yes.
And no pilgrimage to Israel until crisis is resolved. That's coming from Nigerian Christian pilgrims Commission, NCPC. So the Middle East tensions have dashed
the hopes
and the dream of many Nigerians who believe that their dreams will be fulfilled this year, to travel on holy pilgrimage to Israel, Jerusalem.
Especially those who have been sponsored, not with their money. They will feel so disappointed. Now, Israel-Iran conflict. G7 leaders call for de-escalation. Yes, that is still talking about on the foreign scene now. Donald Trump yesterday said the United States does not only have control over skies over Iran, but knew the exact whereabouts of their supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, but assured that he would not be taken out for now. Israel has said its strike could possibly lead to a regime change in Iran. Imagine.
I was not very happy with Mr. John yesterday when he was referring to the Americans with certain terms and the Israeli government as well. But now, does President Trump, like Mr. John is suspecting, does Mr. Trump actually want an end? Does he actually want peace? He's giving the impression that he and the G7 wants to resolve the crisis. At the same time, his utterances are connoting something else. Now, does it think that Ayatollah would be happy with those utterances?
Yes.
They had a meeting.
And he left early.
Yes. And it is very suspected that it's because he didn't want to talk about the possibility of brokering a ceasefire.
Yes.
That's what they were saying, that he quickly left and when he left, he went to, that's when he started posting all sorts of things on his ex-handle. He said they have control of Iran's skies. He said that Iran will never have nuclear weapons and all that. But even if you are going to be doing all that, it should be done covertly. Even if you are two people are fighting, you want to broker peace, and you are holding the hands of one of the warring parties, one of the let's say two people engaged in a physical brawl now, and you want to want them to stop fighting, and you are holding down the hands of one of the two people fighting.
Yes.
And then I begin to wonder. And he's the only one out of the G7. Although I believe they are all the same. I believe they are all in support of the Israelis and against the Iranians. But then he's the only one that has been talking.
Yes. And the call for the escalation of the ongoing conflict came as 20 Arab and Muslim countries, including Egypt, Jordan, Pakistan, Bahrain, Brunei, Turkey, Chad, Algeria, the Comoros, the UAE, that is United Arab Emirates, Djibouti, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Somalia, Iraq, Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, Libya, and Mauritania denounced Israel's attacks on Iran and also called for de-escalation. And meanwhile, the president, one of those statements he made, he urged residents of Tehran and the Iran capital, to immediately evacuate the city, housing over 10 million populations, as Israel continued to pound the country. And Trump boasted that U.S. now has complete control of Iran's skies. Yes, like I said, and he claimed Israel had made on the 3rd of the conflict.
And he's also advising the people of Tehran to evacuate. Is it going to be welcoming them to New York? I don't understand. You're asking them to evacuate. You are telling them you are supposed to be the big brother. You are supposed to be brokering peace, whereas you are behaving like the true international bully that you are. I'm telling them that that's what he seems to be telling the Iranians.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, like I said, the question is, do the Americans actually want peace? I mean, it's beginning to learn credence.
They don't want peace. Don't let me say Americans. Does the American government want peace? Yes.
And it's beginning to lend credence to what we have suspected all this while, that this whole thing is because of America's desire to bring down Iran, just like they brought down
Iraq,
a number of
and some other countries,
Iraq, Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Beirut, just like the Afghanistan, even
Afghanistan, yes.
Although, well, they had a justification for going into Afghanistan, the 9/11 attacks.
Yes.
But then it's what they've always wanted all this while. So even there is a conspiracy theory that even the Israelis deliberately let down their guard to allow Hamas hit them at that time.
Yes.
That attack which killed about 1,000 Israelis, and which started the war in Gaza now, which triggered the war in Gaza, that it was all orchestrated, and knowing fully well, the Americans knowing fully well that the Iranians, when the Israelis begin to pound Gaza, that the Iranians would want to get involved, and then that would be an excuse that they are defending their interest in Israel, and they cannot allow the Ayatollah to have a free ride. So that would be their excuse for coming against them, the Iranians. But the Iranians, they should have been able to see very clearly. They shouldn't have fallen into the trap set by the Americans.
Yes.
Now that I look at the issue, coming to Africa now, the coup in Niger Republic, and the way initially we wanted to go in to unseat that government through the ECOMOG force. But then we were able to see clearly that this looks more like a trap, not just for us, but for the entire sub-region. Talking about the interests of Russia, and talking about countries, even within ECOWAS, that are not really on the same page with us, but merely pretending to be. So I think we did see the folly of a military intervention force in Niger, also when the people themselves do not seem to be very opposed to the military regime.
Yes.
So we saw reason, but it doesn't look like the Iranians are seeing things in the same light.
And President Tinubu, is the chairman of ECOMOG. He quickly saw what might happen if
the international happens. Conspiracy.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Hello. Good morning.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bebo.
Good morning.
I'm Julia from Kalaba.
Good to have you.
On what happened is, I think the president will find something that will be different from what we've been hearing Thursday today, when he visited that place today. And Chief of Defense Staff, Musa, he has been talking, and I think he comes from that region. But one thing is, he said something yesterday which is not intelligent enough. He said they are going to train some youths, so that because the nation cannot do it alone, they will fight against insurgency. That they will train some youth in that region. Now, military cannot handle a militant group. Now you want the youths who are not trained, you want to just give them short course. So you want them to go and die. Then what's the job of military and the Nigerian forces in debating Nigerian people against all these people? If people do not have job in this country, if people will come out from school in this country, because if we tell them they should go and look job for themselves, go and be an entrepreneur, that's what they be telling them. Go and farm, go to farm. People will not have water. The government will tell them to go and dig well. People will not have schools. The government will be telling them to go to school. People do not have food. They say you will be growing food at the back of our house. Now, people cannot secure them. People cannot secure people. Government is telling them to get their certificate. So what's the job of government in this country? I don't know. Can you share government in government? Because you know what people for. If you get in the justice, you enjoy the largesse and everything. You get brother and suit. That's the job of government. I don't know. Then on Israel-Iran war. Now, I think Iran fell for the date. The Israelis, the first chief of defense staff killed by the Israelis was not intended suspect they want to kill. They know they killed that one. Iran is going to appoint another one. And Iran appointed another one. The second one appointed by Iran was the one they were looking for, and they killed him yesterday. So Iran are killed on the same side now. Iran should be more cautious now, not to rush, because they are waiting for them. Israel does not bluff. Iran should be very cautious of the next approach, because the Americans are waiting. They want to use something to punish Iran. So Iran should just keep calm and know the next step to take.
right.
Thank you very much.
They said they know where the Ayatollah is, and they will be taking me out for now.
For now, yes.
So when do they intend to take him out?
Take him out.
Really?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you, Alaji.
On the issue of the Makode problem, you know, let me say, I want to propound a set of three-way measure. Now, the vigilante in the area, in Makode, in the local government, they should be well established to help out. You know, these are people that know the terrain of each local government over there. Then secondly, we are pressing for local police and state police. So I believe this one will also help a lot. Then the third, I've been to Benue once, and when you see there, they have arable land, but there's no industry. Their youth except the engaged in farming. There's no other means. So if you go there, they are so gainfully employed, so they are doing a different thing. Now, on the Iraq and Iran and Israel war, I think USA is the one pulling the Israelites. And so, like somebody has said, we cannot use religion at least to establish the sovereignty because they are not fighting for religion purposes. So, people are saying it's a Muslim Christian, but it's not. So, when you are in Israel, you see many Muslims there. It won't happen in Iran. So how can then we introduce religion to that? So the best thing is to stop the king of Friday. Thank you,
Thank you very much.
All right, 082550985. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Adebayo from you.
Good to have you, sir.
I want to talk about the happenings. Not doing well at all. They are not doing well. All these things are near come. They are not approaching the issue headlong. What is it? We say the issue is amongst powerful. They are not approaching the issue the way it should be. The second one is about especially the Iranian war. If you have to remember, the Iranians should be cautious, like Brother Jacob and all of us said. They started it off. They said they are fighting to support the Hamas ballistic. Why should they do that? They should be careful. Not fully aware that they should know that the Americans are trying every effort at least to bring them down. That's all that they should be cautious. They wonder.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
We'll take a short break now. We'll be back.
Person ask you say wetin be the game wey dey totori you pass, you go tell them say na Betano all the time. No go dull yourself o, make you follow join for the ogbonge betting options, fast cash out, missions wey dey engage you and get welcome bonus wey fit reach 200,000 naira. Betano, the game don start. Make you dey bet responsibly. Na only for people wey don pass 18 years. Betano na proud partner of Aston Villa.
Do you know you can post your job vacancies on Jobberman for free?
Free? Really?
Yes! Through the Young Nigeria Works initiative, in partnership with Jobberman and the MasterCard Foundation, you can list jobs at zero cost.
And reach over 3 million job seekers?
Absolutely! Plus, you get smart tools to manage applicants and boost your brand.
Visit www.jobberman.com/employer/free-listing to post jobs for free today.
Hire right with Jobberman.
Right, we're back and the program is still conversation. Hello, good morning.
Peace of God to you, Tola and Bimbo.
Peace of God to you too, sir.
Adidado is calling from Okeo.
Good to have you, brother.
Good to have you.
Thank you. One of the principal lawyers, lawmakers The government knows the killers. Many of the killers are known to the government. Many of the killers don't hide themselves. They kill and take out criminal responsibility for the killings. Clearing criminals from facing the wrath of law is injustice. And where justice is lacking, crimes escalate, crimes reign. And that is what we are having in Nigeria. The experience we have been having for long and hitherto. God, please change our rulers to righteousness. Change all Nigerian citizens as well, so that we can experience peace in this country. May God answer our prayer. Thank you, Adedalu.
Thank you very much.
070-5555-1985.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Good sir.
My secondary school days, I have come to realize this as fact. Anybody go back to his friend, anybody go back to his friend, don't watch America. Good morning, I can from everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And it's talking about the fact that the Americans will always jump to the defense of the Israelis.
Yes.
Any nation that wants to face Israel would have the Americans to contend with.
Yes. Hello, good morning. Quickly. Yes, quickly. Good morning.
Good to have you, sir.
I want to comment on the issue of Benue State.
Okay.
I think the problem is Benue State is becoming something, unbecoming. And the problem has a simple solution. You have people who are aborigines, and you have people who are roasting cattle, you have people who are grabbing land, and you have people who are destroying other people's farmland. For immediate action, the government of Nigeria has to stop others from coming to any state, and this problem will stop. And then other solutions will come later. This killing is becoming terrible and terrifying. It's so sad. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we had an interesting time on the program, and we have to go. We'll be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akombi. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your day.
Oluyole FM. Samba. Oluyole FM. Samba de Janeiro.
Yes, good morning, sports fans. Another time again on Sported Beat, the midweek edition, right here on Oluyole 98.5 FM. And on the program, we will be crisscrossing the ever-exciting world of sport. We have sport news ranging from football stories, basketball. We'll be giving you updates from the national scene. So that many more will be coming to your listening pleasure. So sit back and enjoy the jolly ride as we've curated in the ever exciting world of sport. We're live on Facebook, Oluyole 98.5 FM and Oluyole 985 FM. And yes, these phone numbers admit your calls into our live studio this morning. 070-555-1985 and 080-5500-9850. Once again, 080-5500-9850 and 070-555-1985. Admit your calls into our live studio this morning. Once again, my name is Toby Ajewole, your host on the program this morning. But first things first, I'll be giving a shout out to three wonderful people celebrating their birthdays today. First, I'll be starting giving a wonderful and a heartfelt shout out, birthday shout out to Faithful Dushima Akurudu. Yes, a happy birthday to you, Faithful, or as I like to say, happy birthday to you, Faithy, and I wish you long life and prosperity. And second, who I'll be wishing a wonderful birthday this morning. Yes, as a teacher, my lecturer, Dr. Francis Amenahawo. I wish you a happy birthday to you. And last but not the least, my studio manager, Mr. Sunday Akindele. Yes, always queuing me on for programs right here in our live studios from Oluyole 98.5 FM. Happy birthday to you, Sunday Akindele. And yes, starting with our first story this morning. Enugu State is now gearing up for the 23rd National Sports Festival as the NSC DG Honorable Bukola Olopade has now held productive meetings with the Executive Governor of the Coal City State, Governor Peter Ndubisi Umba. And yes, the preparations are now in full swing for next year's National Sports Festival, which Enugu State has now positioned itself to deliver a memorable fiesta. The DG of the National